We are again at the World Championship Battle of the Nations. Captains are gathering for a general meeting. Marshals can be seen behind them. Spectators choose their places. Cameras and video cameras are ready to be used. And the most spectacular battle configuration, 21 versus 21, will soon begin. But for now, the captains speak. We have gathered the best fighters of Poland and taken our friends from Lithuania. I also want to thank the organizers of this festival that made it possible for the best fighters of Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and Poland to gather together. The work of marshals is important, complicated, and nerve-wracking. Oleg Lukyanov is one of the 3 knight marshals of the championship. We do our best to ensure that the refereeing is totally objective. The World Championship, Battle of the Nations. Behind the lists and the stands, fighters are preparing for the most important battle configuration of the championship. Participation in this type of battle demonstrates the impressive skills of a national team, a result of hard work by fighters and instructors alike. But for now, they're waiting. Waiting can make a man more tired than fighting. The fighters tune up, fit their gear, and go to the lists to defend the honor of their nation. You need to tap your inner reserves. That's what gives you the strength and courage to win. Members of the Ukrainian national team go first. They are ready to meet their opponents face to face. Their opponent, the Russian national team. Russian fighters attack quickly, as they always do, managing to break the Ukrainian formation within the first few seconds of the battle. The Russians are fast, hard, strong, and want to win. This girl is worried about the man she loves. I worry so much. It's very dangerous. These aren't staged battles. Everything is real. Everybody wants to win by any means. The men fighting is so dangerous. Her boyfriend is Vladimir Gunev, a member of the Ukrainian team. He's on the list, participating in this difficult battle. In the next battle, the Russians are fighting against Belarus. Belarusians occupy the hill, a tactically advantageous position. But Russians surround them, press them to the barrier, sending them staggering with heavy blows. We blocked them, so they could do nothing but stand dazed. Then we took them out, fighter by fighter, and defeated them. Yes, the Russians are made of steel. They thought the hill would give them an advantage and they'd win, but we simply blocked them because we're nobody's fools. It was a tactical mistake by the Belarusian commander that led to the encirclement. The Belarusians were then defeated with halbards. The first fight between the teams of Ukraine and Belarus ended in a draw. This is quite unusual for this configuration. Due to an unfortunate mistake, the Ukrainians deprived themselves of victory. But in the second fight, the Ukrainians are more determined to win. Vadim Ropeta is attacking fiercely. Aye, foul play! A Ukrainian hooked the leg of a Belarusian. We hope the Belarusian is all right. A tough battle. The Ukrainian national team has won a difficult battle. This is Battle of the Nations. The best of the best join this event, so there are worthy opponents here. There aren't any weak men. All the fighters are strong and experienced. It's very difficult to win. It is especially hard to defeat Russia. So far, no team has managed to do it in battles 21 versus 21. Time will tell whether the Russians will continue to be the leaders. But for now, they've left their competitors far behind.
Why we lose? Polski squad will not train already well.
In fact, all national teams, with the exception of the Russians, lack training and are weak in combat coordination. Lack of mass Buchert's experience also handicaps them. The national teams are all very different in terms of training.
I was in the middle of the fight, so I can tell why we lose. I can tell why I lose. Because I fell down on my lying friend while going back.
In Russia and Belarus, full contact mass bohorts began in the late 1990s, while in other countries it happened much later. Next on Battle of the Nations, there will be 5x5 battles, a tallied configuration where teams of 5 fighters each will compete. In previous episodes, you've seen brave fighters from the Russian 5-member team from Club Vityaz from Tula. Here we see them again, and how fiercely they fight, showering their opponents with heavy blows. Here is one of the strongest and most dangerous 5-member teams from Lithuania. The Lithuanians are currently members of the national team of Poland.
Нашей бугуртной команде 3 года, у нас всего 6 человек.
And there are 6 of us in the team. It's a big honor that the national team of Poland took us as members after the Battle of Grunwald and some other festivals. They consider us good fighters, but of course friendship played a role too. No one would take anyone just for no particular reason to defend the honor of their country. That's for sure. The Lithuanians have been important to the Polish national team. They are fast and well coordinated. They repel attacks very well, but they do suffer more blows than others. I'm all right. I just need some rest. Thank you. I like the fights in general. For example, the Russians have a very well-coordinated team, well-trained halberds. They're persistent, attack in pairs, groups, or everyone at once. They radiate confidence. The Belarusians and Ukrainians are also very skillful. When necessary, they attack, but they can wait for the right moment. You can't always win applying only brute force. We lack wrestling skills because we focus on battles. It's forbidden for us to use clinches, throws, etc. Meanwhile, it's turned out to be our disadvantage here because other clubs are more developed. They use wrestling techniques, ankle trips, back heels. We experienced all that at this festival. 16 5-member teams started to compete on the first day of the championship. Only 8 are left. The leader is Russia. Ukraine and Belarus are in second place. Their scores are approximately equal, but controversial and emotional moments do happen. The judges said from there that... Oh, who said that? And what exactly? I changed my location and went there. Okay, okay. There are some disputes with the judges and appeals from their decisions. This is a new kind of sport. The authoritative judges are just beginning to be used. Fighters must learn how to fight by a standardized international rule. Everyone is happy to win, but the real test of a man is meeting defeat with dignity. And of course, one should train hard to win more often. It was difficult. Yes. Tough and difficult. Why? Very strong players. This is a battle between a 5-member team from Ukraine, fighters from the club Khan, and a 5-member team from Russia, fighters from the clubs Bern, Knights Castle, and Ludinsky Squadron. The clubs Khan and Bern are the group leaders in 5x5 battles in their respective nations. Proving that they are the best internationally is very important to them. The battle is over, but the marshals and organizers are still actively discussing something. Serious violations were observed. If you substitute men, then you should use reserve fighters. There's 3 of them, do you understand? But you decided to put Gorinov in without saying a word. Who's responsible for that? Zimin doesn't know about it. Do you know it's considered cheating? Why? Why did you take Gorinov? Don't make decisions. I make them for you. If you want a substitute, come to me and ask. I came and said, you said nothing. I understand. Don't you understand everyone will blame him? First of all, come to me. Guys, you're nice and cool, but let me make the decisions. I understand the psychology of judging better. Any reserve men could be taken and no one would even pay attention. The guys are strong, do everything well, but we look like cheaters. Battles continue. Artyom Gorinov decided to replace a man with someone who is not on his 5-member team. This is prohibited. But the problem was solved, and it was decided that the Russian team lost the fight. All battles in the 5x5 configuration are very tough at this point. Only fights for prize-winning places remain ahead. Special responsibility falls upon the marshals. They must make correct decisions quickly and must understand complaints. They need to differentiate serious from unimportant violations. It looks the same for spectators, but each country has its own specific points written into the rules. That's why the most objective set of rules with respect to all participating countries has been developed. Particular points in the rules conflict with the way people are accustomed to fighting. It's difficult to accept something new right on the spot.
Nie всегда были такие самые решения судей для всех команд.
The judges' decisions don't always seem fair to all teams. We think it's important not only how a team fights, but also how judges treat it. That's the point. That's all. Sometimes it's difficult to make an objective decision. There were 2 very serious situations when decisions were made against the Russian team. There's no such thing as a marshal's bias designed to support his own team in such a situation. This isn't a foot tournament. In a duel, one-on-one, when you have the opportunity to change the number of points, each marshal counts the number of blows inflicted by the opponent. In that type of battle, it's possible to show bias. But in this case, it's only possible not to see the blows, but considering there are so many marshals who make decisions collectively, it's not likely that all of them could judge unfairly. In general, things were calm, mostly settled quietly. There were no hysterics, swearing, and everything was okay. So, everything was not bad. Meanwhile, a novice reenactor, Artyom Terekhov, continues his accelerated training. He learns more and more about the heroic times of the Middle Ages. He gets the true facts of medieval life. Historical analogues are not as heavy as people think. Legends talk about the swords of heroes weighing up to 30 kilograms, but in fact, a combat sword weighed 800 to 1300 grams. A falchion up to 1700 grams. Large two-handed swords weighed about 3 kilograms, and such a sword is about my height. All the weapons were light because speed was very important. Yes, speed meant a lot, especially for duels, when it's necessary to deliver a maximum number of blows. The most well-known entitled fighters participate in duels. They participate in battle after battle, overcoming fatigue and pain. Fighters must apply all their skills and use different weapons for the fights. Speed, technique, reaction, and experience, as well as good equipment, all play major roles. The duel is the oldest form of battle reenactment, especially in the third round, where classical arms are used, namely a shield and a sword. Duels began to become popular in the early 1990s, but even now it's a prestigious thing to win the dueling competition. According to the results, all four are winners. But the national team of Russia is the strongest in the world, for sure. False modesty leads to incompetence. What can you say about the opponents? Sergei is a strong opponent. The Ukraine national team also has a strong fighter. He's exhausted now, but he'll recover. The strongest opponent here is the team of Ukraine. Fights, fights, and more fights. But the evening is a time for rest. It's a time for men to take off their armor and relax in an authentic medieval field camp. It's difficult to maintain authenticity and historical accuracy, but that is what creates the special atmosphere of a medieval festival. It's the Azure Patrol that checks for authenticity. Hide all the plastic stuff, quickly! Cover the buckets with something. Make sure it looks like a medieval tavern here. They inspect all the camps at the festival. Attention! An Azure Patrol is coming! It's nice to enter the camp when somebody cooks grub. Well done. You're trying to create a medieval atmosphere. Well done. Meals should also be authentic, corresponding to those from the Middle Ages. We have to take a meal and prepare it correspondingly, because we create not only wars, but everyday life too. But I see an example of non-authenticity. A girl smoking in public. How is that possible? Okay, have a rest, guys. Good evening to everyone. After the inspection of all camps and campfires, a commandant company returns back. Surprising, but the camps begin to look more authentic today. Maybe people are beginning to realize that they not only need to reenact battles, but they also need to reenact everyday life.